If you are an international student who is serious about building a career in finance in the UK, I'm here to tell you ordinary finance or master's degree won't cut it. But qualifications like CIMA, ACCA, ICAEW, or CFA will do that. Stay with me in this video in which I will discuss why British employers recognize these qualifications, pay you more, and promote you faster. And I'm going to also discuss an example of two of my mentees who were frustrated with an MBA and then they exponentially grew as a result of pursuing CIMA qualifications, earning in excess of £100,000 and working for employers like Mercedes-Benz and Airbus. And in this video, I will also show you what are the key differences in these qualifications are, what you need to do to qualify, and why these qualifications are valued more. Every year, thousands of international graduates come to the UK and pursuing master's degree or an MBA degree thinking that that is going to help them have a high profile career in finance, and only to be disappointed. And the reason is the British employers value professional qualifications like CIMA, ACCA, ICAEW, or a CFA. And the reason why they do that is because the British employers are not hiring you for job titles. They're hiring professional competence, professional ethics, integrity, sound judgment, and commercial acumen, which these professional qualifications provide. And the reason is that these qualifications are extremely challenging and difficult to pass, but once you do, they are extremely rewarding. In this video, I'm going to explain you the difference between a professional qualification and a traditional degree, like a master's degree. So what is a professional qualification? A professional qualification usually comes with a license to practice. For example, you would see a lawyer who has a license to practice law, an accountant has a license to practice accountancy or finance. But not everybody opens up their own practice, but they end up working for global multinational companies as a CFO, as a head of finance, group consolidation manager, finance manager, and even chief executive officer. So in these positions, you need somebody who has subject matter expertise that allows the person to make sound commercial business decisions that are not just only based on the numbers, but also on the qualitative aspects of the business. And these decisions are relied upon based on the professional training that you get in the qualifications such as CIMA, ACCA, ICAEW, or CFA qualification. And also, what comes with a professional qualification is a fiduciary obligation to make sure that you give competent advice, you act with honesty and integrity, and you do not bring the profession into disrepute by being negligent or by acting dishonestly. If you do that, then you end up losing the license and there are severe sanctions to it. That is never present in a master's degree. You would never hear news like that somebody was awarded a master's degree and then they lost a master's degree as a result of misconduct or professional negligence. But in professional qualifications like CIMA, ACCA, I have a list full of cases where somebody acted dishonestly or were incompetent that they were sanctioned by the regulatory body. Also, what is important for you to know is that why are these qualifications better than an ordinary master's degree or an MBA degree? The reason why I say that is the curriculum and the course of these qualifications evolve with the demands of the economy as to what the employers need. For example, if today AI is coming into the picture and a lot of automation will come through, then a lot of numbers will be automated. Does that mean that accountants will not be needed? That is not true. More or less, you will have qualification that will evolve with the AI technology, but it will also bring in extra accountability that if you are using AI technology and you end up making a mistake, the accountability will still fall on you as a qualified professional. And how do you prepare for that when you're leveraging technology to make business decisions, right? So it is really important to understand that why professional qualifications differ from ordinary master's degree. And in this scenario, I will also tell you that how CIMA qualification personally benefited me, because I qualified in the year 2009. I was earning around £5 15 pence an hour. You can see my pay slip if I can find that on the right top and corner. And I was just doing a cleaning and a cashier job until I started pursuing CIMA qualification. And I went from earning just £6 an hour to earning more than £350,000 a year here in Switzerland, purely because I not only earned, a lot of experience through this qualification, but I was able to demonstrate my tangible value to my employers by saving hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, handling large complex projects. And CIMA prepared me well enough to think through strategically and numerically in a technical expertise matter when it's required, and also add options to my potential employers, and that is why I succeeded. And today I'm going to explain you that what key differences are in the qualification. For example, CIMA stands for Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. I'm the one chartered management accountant. You can see my certificate on the top right hand corner. ACCA stands for Association Chartered Certified Accountants. ICAEW stands for Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, and CFA stands for Chartered Financial Analyst. Now, how do you decide that which qualification is the best route for you to go forward? Now, let's look at first ACCA and ICAEW. Well, ACCA, if you are an ICAEW, if you are somebody who enjoys taxation, if you're someone who enjoys auditing, and you like to travel more, then this is the qualification for you. Many CFOs and finance directors have ACCA or ICAEW qualifications, but firms like Deloitte, Ernst& Young, PwC, BDO, these are auditing firms that send their external auditors to audit publicly listed companies' annual accounts. And you understand that if a company is listed on a stock exchange, they have to disclose their quarterly and annual accounts every year or every quarter. But these accounts have to be audited by someone to come and tell and sign on the report stating that yes, the accounts are drawn in accordance to the accounting standards, say international financial reporting standards, and they give a true and fair view of the business picture, what the publicly listed companies are claiming to be. And if they find some inaccuracies or something like a fraud, then they will not sign on the report, and that will have a material impact on the share price of that company. Now let me give you an example. In early 2000s, 2001, 2002, there was a company that went bankrupt called Enron. Enron was a company that went down as a result of a top accounting firm called Arthur Anderson, where the accountants helped the Enron company in destroying accounting records and also covering up with the creative accounting practices that they followed to inflate the share price. And after that, there was a new legislation that came into the in the US, which is called SOX, or the Sarbanes-Oxley legislation, in which now any US listed company, their CEO and their CFOs have to sign a statement under SOX 302 and 404 that the financial statements that they are providing to the members of public as a disclosure is free from any misstatement. And if it turns out that they were either doing it intentionally or they were negligent, they could end up in jail or they could get a lot of fine. And this includes criminal liability also. Now, this is done to make sure that the public trust in this profession is maintained, that had eroded in early 2000. Now, this is why the British employers pay you far more than an ordinary master's degree, because you've got everything to lose. Because not only that, you require a lot of stamina, rigor, technical expertise to become qualified accountant. And just by passing exams, you don't become qualified. You become something called a CIMA finalist, or someone who has just passed the exams but is about to qualify. And you don't qualify until you have 3 years of relevant working experience under the supervision of a person who's a qualified accountant. Say, for example, when I qualified, before I qualified, when I passed my exams, my profile, I had to document 3 years of my relevant experience in the foundation level, intermediate level, and at the strategic level, that I had to make in form of a report as to how I have progressed, what are the tasks that I did in accordance to the CIMA accounting standards for qualifying, and I had to submit my report to two professionally qualified CIMA accountants who assessed my experience, looked at my exam results, and then they gave a signature on that, yes, this person is authorized to be called a chartered management accountant. And usually these professional qualifications come behind your name, like a title like CPA, ACCA, CFA, or ICAEW. Now let's look at like what ACCA and ICAEW are pretty much similar, but they're different accounting bodies. So if you've got interest in being an auditor, or somebody who wants to open their own accounting firm to provide advice on how to prepare accounts, or for small businesses, medium-sized businesses, or if you want to work as a financial accountant or as an auditor, then this is the qualification, ACCA and ICAEW, to go about it, because then you will have the authorization and through your training to sign on publicly listed companies' accounts that yes, they meet the accounting standards and they're free from any misstatement. Okay, so your signature plays an extremely important part. If you do not sign, it will have an adverse impact on the company. So if you make a mistake, there is a high amount of accountability, because they expect that you've done all the auditing, all the due diligence that gives you the confidence to give a sign on the report saying yes, the accounts are true and fair and give a true business picture of the company. Okay, now let's look at what CIMA does. So CIMA stands for Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, which I'm a member of since last 15-16 years. So a CIMA accountant is equally qualified in terms of numbers and subject matter expertise in terms of financial accounting, but management accounting is an additional part that comes into this qualification. And audit of external audit is not a area that we study in this qualification. That does not mean that we do not do internal audits. People who are CIMA qualified end up becoming CFOs, they become head of finance, senior program controllers, or even in non-financial positions like marketing directors, head of global project management, because there are always numbers involved and they want somebody who can wear both hats of both numbers and strategy combined together. So therefore you would expect that a CIMA qualified accountant would bring in their strategic analytical skills. So if you're someone who enjoys numbers also, but is not interested in audit, but is very interested in bringing strategic options to the business, then this is the qualification for you. Now, let me give you an example of a real world scenario. So, imagine you are a CFO and you are pressurized by your CEO that you have to tone down the results of the report before they're published and for auditors to come and do the review, right? So, you are now challenged whether you should listen to the CEO or do exactly what the accounts are telling you. What is the true business position? Whether you have enough money in the business to sustain for the next year as a going concern, or you are going to be down under. And if you write something negative or something that could hint that the company is in deep trouble, it would have an adverse impact on the share value. But that is the right way to go about it. How do you deal in this ethical dilemma? That is exactly why you get big bucks, and you are trained to deal with such certain situations, that not to be dissuaded by people who are higher up in the corporate structure, or with an incentive that if you turn a blind eye to it, then you will get promotion. Because once this is found out that you were negligent, or you did it knowingly or unknowingly, then the sanction will come on you. Not CEO will be fired, but you will never be able to practice that profession in future in finance ever again. So therefore, how do you deal with that situation is one thing that CIMA professional qualifications train you. But then you have to also look at that if there is an situation where you have to give a strategic option to the CEO. For example, you run a chain of theaters where the footfall, the number of people who should be entering the cinema to watch the movies, has been declining at the rate of say 50% between Mondays and Thursdays. You do get traffic between Friday to Sunday, but Monday to Thursday the theater's footfall has gone down by 50%. Then what a CIMA accountant would do, or CIMA qualified professional as a CFO would do, is they would give options like, we can reduce the price by say 20% and offer a subscription model that would guarantee us fixed revenue between Monday to Thursday if we bind the people into an annual contract, and that is going to increase our demand by 30%, and overall profitability will grow by another 6% compared to having no revenue at all between Monday to Thursday. This is something called scenario analysis and decision making and risk management. These kind of skills and scenarios are taught in these qualifications, and these are highly practical. And the beauty about this qualification is that even if you've not worked in an industry, say you could be working in FMCG, you could be working in financial services, CIMA will equip you to think pragmatically in any direction. And that's why through case study exams in the final level, where you are given an unseen case study to give recommendations, identify issues, and give advice to the board, this makes the qualification really, really practical. So not only you will use the numbers, which is obviously an important component in this qualification, you will also use your strategic insights to think like, if I have to fire 11,000 people because we have been having decline in the sales, or there is a new legislation in place like AI technologies come in, and we need to optimize our cost base and ensure to the investors, the shareholders, that our profitability is going to grow, do you think we should be firing 11,000 people? And if we do that, what is going to be the net savings? Compare that to loss of expertise, loss of knowledge management, the impact on customer care, how the customers would perceive this if they don't speak to a human and they speak to AI bot. What is going to be long-term impact? These are some of the questions that a CIMA qualified or ACCA qualified or ICAEW qualified professional would be able to tell their stakeholders, whether it's shareholder or the board, CEOs. They will be able to do that an ordinary master's degree does not do that for you. Okay, let me also give you an example of two of my mentees that I mentored many years ago, where they did an MBA from India, Amity Business School, which had a tie-up with University of East London here in London, where 1 year was done in Amity in New Delhi, and another year was actually done in University of East London in London, and they were really happy about it. And then once they finished the MBA, they were not getting any offers whatsoever, and they were limited to jobs in retail outlets, which really frustrated them, because they thought that they would be given a job of financial analyst. And because they had done a little bit of bits and bobs financial analysis, they were really frustrated. They thought they knew a lot, until I sat them down and I told them that what they assumed was their subject matter expertise was actually generic information, and they did not really have technical expertise. And it was a hard pill to swallow. I also counseled them in a very respectful manner, but saying that if you're serious about a career in finance, then I think you should pursue CIMA qualification, because that is going to nicely um, help you bring the strategic insights learned from MBA into CIMA qualification, and then you can expect a highly rewarding career. Fortunately, they took my advice on board. Full credit to them. They worked extremely hard. They claimed the exemptions based on the MBA, which made 16 exams into probably 8 or 9 exams. But they qualified, they gained their experience, and they went on to work for Airbus, Mercedes Benz, and clearly earning in excess of £100,000. Today, they are well settled, and I could not be more proud of them. And I think I have seen many students who've done master's degree, and then they are extremely discouraged because they're working not in the profession that they have learned the structured knowledge from. They're working in customer service. Nothing wrong with that, but then people who are serious about working in finance should actually be working in finance, but they don't get the responses from the employers, and they are confused as to what was told to them in marketing brochures or what the educational consultants told them is a complete lie, right? And then it leads to frustration, and then they're stuck. You don't want to be in that position. And the very reason I'm making this video is because I'm passionate about helping transforming 1 million careers, and that is on my banner. That I don't want you to make that mistake. You still have time. So if you're thinking about building a career in finance, please look at the links down below. And if you don't believe me, it is not my hunch that I'm telling you. And why should you believe me? Look at my video now, which I'm going to show you the earning potential of CIMA, ACCA, and ICAEW qualified professionals, and what are the titles. This website called gov.uk, and I've written here CIMA qualified in UK. Let me write London, say London, and I search and see what comes out. So a finance assistant, this is usually for a part qualified accountant. So let's look at that. If you are not fully qualified, so they want somebody who's part qualified, and you can expect to earn a salary of £40,000 that an ordinary traditional master's degree would never allow you to do. So if you come here and just write CIMA, let's see what comes out, and we select paying in excess of £75,000. You can see there is an opportunity of senior FP&A manager, which is senior financial planning and analysis manager. It's paying 80 to 100,000 pounds. If you come down, it's a biotech company. And what do they need? You need to be a qualified accountant with ACCA, ACA, or CIMA qualification. Now, this is an example of what I was saying, that the British employers recognize professional qualifications. They're not asking for a master's degree here. Let's look at another one. Head of finance, adult and social care, which is in a local authority. And what do they want? So let's look at that. You need to be CCAB or CIMA or CIFA. CIFA is when you want to work in public sector, this is an accountancy qualification, but CIMA qualification is recognized, would be highly regarded, and the pay is really good, 75 to 91,000 pounds. You can see that. Let's look at another one. If I write here ACCA and then I search, and you can see, so they're looking for, let's look at if they're looking for an auditor. So there is the audit and accounts manager. So what do they require? It's paying a salary of 60 to 70,000 pounds, which is fantastic. And you will be ACA or ACCA qualified accountant with both audit and accounts preparation. As I told you, that the employers, there is a great demand for professionally qualified people. So if you are serious about building career in finance, this data really proves that professional qualifications are highly sought after by British employers. And if you're qualified, then you can expect a fantastic career. Now, I don't mean to say that if you did an MBA from a top business school like London Business School, then that you cannot have a career in finance. But the kind of career you would have would be completely different. Let me give you an example. If you did a top MBA from a top business school like Manchester, Imperial, or London Business School in the UK, then if you want to get into investment banking, then through strong alumni network, the employers will come to you. Okay, then you will get opportunities to start as an investment associate or private equity analyst, and then you would be fast tracked through their program. But you will not come into the position purely based on just MBA, even from a top school, in a position of a CFO. What you will always need is a professional qualification, at least in the UK. I can tell you that that is the same in the US, it is the same in the UK, it is the same in Australia, where there is regulated professions and there is fiduciary responsibility bestowed upon people of a higher status in terms of CFOs or CEOs or head of finance. They all need to be professionally qualified. Now, if you are serious about making a career in, say, financial services, and you want to be a portfolio manager, or you want to be equity analyst where, or equity research analyst, where you would attend a conference of a publicly listed company in which the CFOs are explaining what results have been, what can they expect in terms of forecast, and based on what they give you as an insight, then you can provide an opinion by tweaking your financial model about that company, whether to upgrade a stock, to downgrade a stock, or to hold a stock, right? And these kind of informations are already provided on websites like NASDAQ, where you will see analysts from UBS, Credit Suisse, Barclays Bank, and who would question the CFOs and ask them about, what is happening with the business, what are the growth levers, what can they expect in terms of forecast. And they really dig deep and analyze the financials, even though audited, to find out that, what is the realistic way, or what is the realistic picture of the business, based on which they can come to a reasoned opinion to upgrade or value the stock or undervalue the stock. This is done by somebody who's qualified as a chartered financial analyst. This is a gold charter qualification. It is done from the US. It takes about 2 years to do, and these are extremely challenging exams, but once you do that, you are instantly recognized all over the world. In terms of ACCA, ICAEW, CIMA, these are also globally recognized. ACCA is recognized in 180 countries. CIMA is also recognized in the UK, India, entire Europe, Australia also, and I can tell you what the earning potential is. So if you are a part qualified accountant, whether it's CIMA, ACCA, or ICAEW, you can expect to earn anywhere from say £25,000 to £40,000. If you are newly qualified, you can start from say £50,000 and go up to even £75,000 in the UK. And once you become post qualified and you've got 5 to 6 years of experience, you can expect to earn in excess of £100,000. And it depends also in the kind of industry you're working in, and the kind of country. For example, Switzerland, where I work now, they have extremely high levels of salaries, so you could easily be crossing £100,000 salary even as a newly qualified accountant. As I told you, that my intention here is to not just gain subscribers. I'm genuinely interested in transforming 1 million careers, and that starts with this video. By hoping my with my hope is that if you are someone who is serious about the career in finance, I hope this advice helps you in making your own decision, doing your own further research to arrive at an outcome where you can decide whether this is the route to go forward or not. One last thing that I have not been able to cover is the length of the course. On a normal MBA, whether you do from London Business School or say any university in the UK, it can go from 1 year to 18 months, depending on the university. But usually, qualifications like CIMA, ACCA, or ICW would take you at least minimum 3 years. You can even pass the exams in 2 years, but unless and until you have 450 days of training contract with ICAW, you will not you've signed off, you got a sign off from your supervisor, you will not become qualified ICAW. With ACCA and CIMA, you need minimum 3 years of experience. This experience can be before the qualification, during the qualification, and after the qualification. So that is something you need to bear in mind, that how you can do this qualification, or how long will this qualification take me. This is why the British employees have huge faith in these qualifications, and they pay you more and they promote you faster. But by no means these employers will come to your doorstep and say, we are doing campus interview, we will hire you. You have to seek out and find your own opportunities. You speak to employers like hayes.co.uk, Michael Page, Reed, go to totaljobs.com, where you can apply to the companies through them and find the opportunities that are of the qualified level. So I hope this video has been of use to you and value to you. Please do leave comments down below if you're not able to decide which qualification, and maybe I can help you arrive at a decision which makes more sense to you, right? So I wish you all the best, and I look forward to hearing from you in my comments down below. Till next time, take care.